Yeah. So, um, meaning that, like, because of dissension, because we can't trust each other, because we don't understand processes, um, and when it comes to building, right, it's like, where else can we go to build, right? The whole earth's been taken,
The
right?
whole earth.
The
What
whole
about
earth,
Greenland?
like, seriously, like, meaning, like, either there's a mindset that
Right.
this belongs to someone else. How, how the Vatican decided, just off of a whim, that both North America and South America was going to be theirs, right, through the Dums Diverses,
Right. Right.
right, including all of the indigenous people who were here on these lands.
Right. Would that be colonization?
It's a social engineering experiment,
Right.
right? That's why they call it the Holy See, right? Because it's a social engineering experiment, right? And the crazy part is that we've all been programmed to this point, right, to not trust each other, right, to be separate,
Right.
right, to fight against one another,
Right.
right? Why are we giving so much love to a place that has no love for us, right? They do what they want to us in the justice system, give us a seat, and then say, okay, well, we're still going to do what we want.
But have you ever heard of people that profit or make themselves feel better off the misery of others? Is it that case? Like, as long as I got somebody
I think
suffering,
this no, I think it's more about survival than anything, even for them, right?
genetic survival.
It's genetic survival, and it's, situational survival,
Okay.
right? We became a threat to these people when they realized that we carried all of the minerals in the world, right? We became not a threat, but a concern. We became a concern for these people when they realized that we were the orchestrators and arbitrators and creators and inventors of most of the major lessons and studies and sciences across the planet. We became a big concern,
And
right?
what do you mean about minerals? We carry all the minerals,
Meaning our lands, the lands that we occupy or occupied.
like the diamonds and gold and silver, that type of
It
minerals.
goes further than that, though. Zinc, iron,
Right, of course.
things like that.
Periodic table.
Yeah, rubber, copper,
Right, resources. I
resources,
get you.
right? These are a part of our lands. Now, where they come from, right? The place that they came from didn't have these type of resources. That's why you had to go outside of the where they came from to actually find these types of resources, right?
And distort and manipulate the people that's indigenous to the land in order to
Well, I
rape the
don't think
land.
that this was, as far as like, you know, I mean, smelting and iron smelting and even nuclear applications have been used in Africa for thousands of years, right? Africa had, from what we understand, one of the earliest and I guess healthiest forms of nuclear processing. They did it in a forest and used literally the woods around them to build a smelting plant or a nuclear plant, right? It's incredible the amount of knowledge that's been lost, but what does that mean for us now, right? Do we continue, right? Do we continue with this narrative, right? Or do we begin to start believing in ourselves enough to say that we can do for ourselves? Okay, thank you. I see it like this. Like, we didn't know who you were prior to you showing up in our lands, right? We are the indigenous people anywhere you go. You go to South America, you go to North America, they can try to deny it as much as they want to. You go to Africa, they can try to deny it as much as they want to. The evidence speaks mountains for us, though. The people of Kemet, right? The people of North America, South America, the indigenous all across the world look just like us, right? And so, with that being said, we never needed them.
Of course not.
We never needed them. They needed us more than we needed them.
Right.
And at this point, it seems as if we need them more than they need us.
They put us up under illusion of that by taking away our known traditions and skills to survive. If you go out to the tribe, you still got tribal members or tribes that's actually surviving every day without the input of any type of outside influence.
Man, what would you give, man? I don't know what I would give to see a natural kingdom of my people. Not that they got to be Africans or anything like that, but just
Just
my people,
natural,
just a
right?
natural
Indigenous to the
kingdom
land.
for I guess for what they're calling us, the created beings, right?
Right.
We were created by white people. This is the story, right? In the Carolinas, they had these farms where they would breed, you know, uh, the strongest black male with the strongest black female, and the only thing that they were looking to do was produce another being that they could have, work for them in
In
the
captivity.
fields, right? You could grow your own money in a sense,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Through
pretty
through
much your own human
yeah,
resource.
right. So if that's the case, if that's who we are, then if they made a new race of beings, right? If that's who I believe I am, that's who we believe we are, because we stay under these people's roofs, basically under their understanding when it comes to their government and their systems and everything else. If that's who we are,
But even in nature, the nature, the instinct of a man and woman is to choose a mate that's of healthy stature to reproduce and make a healthy child. That's natural anyway.
that's not forcing somebody to procreate, right?
Right.
To use that child
As a
as a
resource. Right.
resource, and it's still happening today,
It is.
right?
It
Except for
is.
now, now it's not uh you're gonna have sex with this person. Is you're not allowed to do with your body what you think you want to do with your body. And this is the thing, and this is for women too, that y'all gotta understand. Once you have a child in your body, it's not just your body anymore,
That's right.
right? That child
That's
is
right.
inside of your body, and that child's body is what you're killing.
That's
Okay,
right.
it's not
If you're doing the
your
wrong
body,
things, right?
right? And that's it's crazy, man. I got a daughter, bro.
Yeah, you do. I
Right?
do too. I
Like
do
we
too.
got kids,
Right.
right? We know better, right? And the hatefulness of this society, the hatefulness of this world has turned women into murderers, into incubating murderers. Like they kill their own seeds, right?
Are you speaking of abortion or
Speaking of abortion, completely,
toxic
it,
substances intake?
it all of it, food. Our
Food,
food is
diet.
not even you go into any store, and this has been documented so many times. People talk about this all the time, but they right. You go into any store in America, none of the food is digestible. None of it.
I heard it. I
You
haven't done
can't
any
go.
research on it.
You can't go to the gas station and eat none of that food. It's all toxic. It's all acidic, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's full of packed full of sugar, right? And it's like, yo, are we ever gonna do better? Are we ever gonna do better than this?
When we learn to eat from the land,
I mean,
natural.
we don't grow our own food.
Right, that's the problem.
So how much of a sitting duck are we? If we count on everybody else to take care of us, to sustain us for us, how much of a sitting duck are we really?
But don't you think that they was able to create this mind state in our people due to the fact that they were able to provide easy access? Instead of me having to go out there and till the garden, I could just run to the supermarket and buy what's on the shelf.
Right.
And it also enslaves you to the dollar in the same sense.
Right. That's just it, man. That's just it. Like, we don't need anybody else to do things for us. We don't need anybody to teach us how to farm. We taught them how to farm.
Right.
And then we lost our ability to farm. Taught them and then lost it.
How did we lose it though?
We don't practice it anymore. We don't practice the lands anymore. Right? That's how, that's why it was such a big thing for them to go to war with us when they came here. Right? They slaughtered millions of people, bro. Millions of our people. And then lied about it. And then hid dates. And then went about the world telling the people that we didn't exist, that this land was free and open and clear. That's such a lie. Right. It's such a lie.
Now, I wanted to bring up a point now. In the history books, they mentioned something called Pangea, where all the continents was created at one time.
Yeah, man, it was Gondwana actually. Gondwana was the name of it.
Yeah. I don't know where I get Pangea.
Yeah, I mean, Pangea is like the Europeanized version of it, right. But we called it Gondwana. And that's when the continents, that's before the continents split, right? But there's been major events on this world, mostly having to do with volcanoes. And people have to watch out for. This is a spiritual world. These volcanoes have spiritual.
The earth is living.
Like they have connections to higher spiritual beings.
Absolutely.
They are literally higher spiritual beings. When Santorini exploded, right, and the Israelites went through Egypt, and like the whole mess of what they considered plagues at the time that went on because of this volcano exploding. You had the copper that rose up in the water and turned it red. You had the locusts that showed up. You had the frogs that showed up because all of the fish in the water were dying, right? Because of all of the gases and everything being, and then so the frogs came out and there was like the frog plague, right? You had like just another, like when the sea parted, right? That was a huge and real situation, real event that actually happened. Like the sand on this dune got, you know, wiped away. The people were able to walk through it. The when Moses went after, when he went after, you know, Moses, basically, right? When he went after him, like his whole team got overtaken by the tsunami, because that's when the water receded, it left the area, and then the water came back, right? Right. It wasn't that he parted the sea. It was a situation in the world that we were having a whole crazy cataclysmic event, right? And it was causing all of these things to happen, right? Even down to the methane pouring up from the earth and then killing the firstborns, right? Like once you understand that this happened, right, and these people are who they say they are, like we are who we say we are.
Be careful, son.
You know, we struggle with the knowledge of ourselves. We struggle with the knowledge of all that we've created and done in this world. We've been all over this world back and forth 1,000 times, but we're dealing with so many more things than just these people, or I guess than just this situation, right? Like we're not a team playing people anymore. When we used to be the baddest at it, right? When we're talking about team playing sports, like they can put us together now and play their sports for them, but we can't come together now and play a team, like play on the world scale a team sport.
We could, just like the N1 tour.
How
they
like,
broke that up.
But this
Anytime we put something together, they come in and dismantle it.
It's not the same as basketball. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And this is like, and that's like another big thing, right? All these things that happen, like like Tulsa, like
Black Wall Street.
It's my man. What's the one in Florida? The whole movie was made of it. Vin Rames was in it.
Oh,
Rosewood, right? The Ocoee people, right? Like all these places that, you know, that where we were building our own infrastructures. This is why reparations is such a huge thing, right? We were building our own infrastructures. We didn't need your help.
Right.
We didn't need their help. We were building our own stores, our own bus stations, our own plane stations. Like we were building all of that by ourselves, and then you came and destroyed it because of your own fear. Well, fear it then, because it's coming regardless whether you want it to or not.
No matter how many times you try to knock it back.
Now it's for real. Because here's the thing. Now we just need to separate. Segregation was the worst thing that ever happened to us.
I think it's the best thing.
Like desegregation, excuse me. Yeah, desegregation was the worst thing that ever happened to us.
It is.
Right? Segregation, right, is the best thing that was for us. Like we should have stayed separate, but we didn't understand. We didn't get it then. We didn't understand why.
We was following Martin Luther King, though.
I mean, that was the whole thing. Right. King didn't understand why. He started to get it at the end.
He did.
Right.
That's why they took him
but
out.
Then it was too late by then. Yeah. So what are we saying to ourselves? Are we still cowards? Are we still cowards? Are we still going to sit here and allow this? Because that's what it is. Because that's what they're calling us. They're calling us simps. They're calling us cowards. And this isn't for just the men. This is for the women too, and our kids, right? Because we don't own anymore anything that we considered to be for ourselves, considered to be ours. Right. Like we could prostrate and play like we own some shit, but we don't own shit. Right? It's all under the control of these people. We are vassals in a fucked up court.
That's true.
So while our babies are out here clinging to the matter of they need to become superpowers out here, and they need to arm up and defend themselves at every stop.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane.
You know, while we're sitting here allowing these things, because you know what, I got to get mines, and I need to pay my bills.
Right. Now, what about the fact? Because I know it's people that feel like segregation is the best thing for us, but there's other people that feel that they can change things from infiltration, such as getting members of communities from like we look and like we carry ourselves and where we from into the local offices and government offices to make changes from within to make things better for us? Is that an option for us?
No, hell no. First things first. This government is a. It's just it's a facade.